Oh, yes, here we go. All right. All right, we're live on StreamYard and YouTube. So, welcome to Rick's Life as I See It. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, the only time zone that matters. At the moment, there's only me here. My other panelists haven't shown up yet. Hopefully, they will, but you know how that goes. Otherwise, you're stuck with me. And I'm just waffling on here until people start showing up into the chat. You know, I don't mind talking to myself, but it's nice to talk to, even though I don't see you, but see you in the chat. You know what I'm saying? So I've had I don't know, not a strange week, but to be honest with you, I really ain't done much. I've had a lazy week so far. So there you go. You know, just we're getting some nice days now. Today was a good one. It was way up in the mid 90s, not mid 90s, mid 80s. I think it was. I think it actually got to what was it? I'm trying to think. It got to. I think it got to 85 today. I think, if I'm correct, and it's still about 83 now, and it's 7 o'clock. So, things are looking good. All right. I said anyway. I said I haven't got any panelists showing up yet, so it could be a short hour. you know. But anyway, since we're waiting for the panelists to show up, let's see who was first in the room tonight. That's what I want to know. And the first in the chat tonight was Patriot in the Dark, then Tactical Fud, then Chris from the 740, Gun Hobo. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Yawning like that. I ain't done a lot. I shouldn't be tired. Maybe that's why I'm yawning, because I ain't done much. Anyway, so, of course, that's who's showing up in the chat right now. Of course, there's got to be some lurkers out there, I'm pretty sure. But overall, not much has been happening today with me. I went over to my friend's house this morning, and I got there, and he said he's, got to do something. So I came home. And that was about the course of my day, Caught up on some YouTube videos I haven't watched some TV shows I'm behind on. Real stressful day for me. I'm trying to stay away from the news. I really am. Because I can't, I must be living on a different planet to mainstream media, and that it just, I listen, I read articles. I don't want, as I said, I might glance at a mainstream news outlet for a few minutes. And I'm listening to them and I'm thinking, that ain't what's happened. That ain't, I'm thinking, what world are they living on? Or it's me that's living in the wrong world. I don't know. But it's so I try to stay away from it nowadays. If you noticed, I try not to get too political on here anymore, like I used to a few years ago when I used to rant and rave and all that good stuff. One of my panelists is showing up. Hang on, let's add him. Here he goes. New York Outcast is here. How you doing?
Hey, Rick. How you doing? Sorry
All
about the
right.
delay there.
That's all right. I've kept it going for 5 minutes on my own. I've been doing pretty good. I was just waffling on while I was waiting for people to show up. You know, I was saying that I was talking about I'm trying to stay away from the news because I just don't get it. Because I read it or listen to it, and I think to myself, what world are they living on? Or am I living on the wrong one? You know, because their perception of what's going on is totally different to what I see whatsoever,
Yeah, you're referring to the all the looting, rioting, or
Oh,
so-called
the
peaceful
mostly peaceful
protesting.
protest.
Yeah, peacefully shooting at people and all types of
Yes.
stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Peacefully
I don't know
burning
if it was on,
vehicles.
I think it was, I think it was on Facebook. Some, I don't know. It was something that I caught my eye and I looked at it, and it's going about, Trump sending the Marines to LA. And this person said, "This is what you all voted for," you know? And I tell you, he got slammed, that guy. And everybody's going, "Yes, that's what we voted for." you know, they clean up, get all the criminals out of the country and all that. Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't have a problem with it.
no, not at all.
You know, I personally don't. You know, and if you actually read what he did, he done it. He done it during the riots in, was it 2020? He he's put the Marines to guard or protect government property.
Yeah,
Not he's not going down the around the streets shooting at people or anything. They're not arresting anybody, but if anybody tries to get into a government building, they will stop them.
yeah.
That's the way I read it anyway.
Yeah, I was understanding that you had National Guard come in or requested they came in or something. So,
Oh, they got the
which
National
again,
Guard and the Marines now, I believe.
yeah, but I got no problems with that in a sense. So,
I don't either.
it's a shame people are out there burning shit and doing all this stupid shit to begin with. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I
got to
get.
be some order going on. There's got to be something done. You can't just let people do that shit.
Yeah, I mean, to me, all they're doing is hurting themselves. What are they proving?
It's hurting the taxpayer. I mean, all
Yeah.
these vehicles getting damaged and busted up. I mean, they're just gonna buy new ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, which is coming
insurance
out our
will go up.
pockets. Yeah. Yeah. Like it's just it ain't, it's not really doing anything. I don't know.
It's not. It's not doing a damn thing. So there we go. But I'm just trying.
What is looting like an Adidas store and shit like that have to do with being disgruntled about criminals being deported? How does that help the cause? And are they robbing these stores to give all this stuff to the criminals or illegals, or what are they doing?
They're robbing these stores for themselves.
Yeah, I mean,
and more like
it makes no sense.
Corner.
Yeah, it's just an excuse for people to be dumbasses out there. So
yeah, I agree
be
with
a
you.
lot stricter consequences, and this shit'll fizzle out, I think. But
yeah, well, I just hope they, charge people, especially politicians and shit.
Well, yeah.
Don't let them get away with it.
Most of this stuff is happening in those cities where they pretty much encourage some of this shit. So
yeah,
that's unfortunately, with all the people that don't are stuck paying for it in those places. So as far as all the damage and everything, so
I don't know if it was AI pictures, photoshopped or whatever, but it looks like, sort of like bricks are being delivered to some of the street corners and shit, pallet
Okay.
bricks.
Yeah, yeah. I heard something about that. I don't know if it's true or whatever, but
No.
supposedly dropped off in front of police stations or something. That's what I
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think who knows? I really don't know. A lot of that's rumor stuff, but I'm sure there's probably people out there running videos. I've seen a couple pop up where they're live from wherever. So I mean, unless you really see it yourself or somebody on the street, it's hard to say sometimes
Yeah.
with a lot of this stuff, especially AI. So I've seen a few videos where it's just crazy stuff that's purely fake AI. People are just standing on air and weird things, but it's kind of nuts about other stuff like ship accidents and this and that or whatever. And, horrific stuff, but most of it's all AI. You can tell it's pretty good though. Like if you just catch it at, quick,
Oh
you
yeah.
almost wouldn't know. But if you're really paying attention, you can tell like there's no way. Like, how's that guy just standing there? Like, and
Yeah.
then people disappear and it's just kind of strange, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's getting harder and harder to believe anything. If you can't find multiple sources, then I
Yeah.
don't know, or see it yourself. Yeah,
Yeah. With the way the AI is going, and people warned us this is what was going to happen. That you're not going to be able to tell the real from the fake. You know, and I'm sorry, Skynet is coming. We've got to.
yeah. I feel bad for all the legitimate actors. Because eventually, I bet you they're all going to be replaced with AI.
Yeah.
There'll
Yeah.
be some algorithm or something that composes people that people most like the features. There'll probably be all types of studies done on it, and we'll have these perfect people on TV for everything now.
Yeah. What I've been watching some videos lately, AI generated, where who's ever doing it is taking a picture of a historical person, like a king, a queen, or Billy the Kid or whatever from the picture, and made them talk, walk. If you didn't know it was AI and it was first time you ever saw it, you were thinking, "My God, it looks almost
Yeah,
real."
yeah,
It's amazing what they can do today.
yeah. See, I
So
can see that in like a museum or something like that. Like,
yeah,
you pop into a little chamber and they project the person and it talks to you, and you can
yeah,
ask it questions. That would be awesome. You know what I mean? Honestly, but
yeah,
uh, but it would be known that it's you wouldn't think it was real. You know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah. But we'll see. Anyway, oh, I know why it's on my mind. Totally 180-degree turn on the topic here. Just wanted to let you know what I got for dinner tonight after the show. Salad.
oh yeah, there we go.
You know,
There we
and I'm
go.
gonna have some ham sliced on it, and kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'll just let you know why it was on my mind. That's what I'm having for dinner tonight.
Well, I'm having salad on bread,
Okay.
aka submarine,
Yeah,
hoagie,
yeah,
whatever. So,
yeah.
yep.
See, I was having this discussion because they, you know, we got some people call them hoagies, some people call them subs. Then you guys up in New England, yeah, I mean New York is part of New England, but it's on the outskirts. But you get up into, Rhode Island, Connecticut, or Massachusetts, they're grinders. First time I went up there, I thought, what in the hell is a grinder? You know?
Yeah. Around here, like, depends where you go. You can easily tell how much you're going to pay for something by what they name. Same thing with, if it's a sub, then you're usually paying what normal prices.
Yeah.
Hoagies, grind, they like calling shit different things, jacking the prices up. Now, honestly, I think there is a difference that relates to the type of bread you're using, but I'm not a sandwich
Connoisseur.
professionado or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I can't
Yeah.
really tell you because there's a lot of the ones that come with the flatbread and then the wraps and
Oh yeah. All I
it's
want
almost
is
as bad as trying to
a
order a
toasted
coffee at
Italian.
Starbucks.
Just give me a toasted Italian on a sub roll, hoagie roll, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call that bread.
yeah,
Just give me one of those.
pretty much what I'm having tonight. Italian subs made at home. So
Yeah. So anyway, that was a total. Also, what else I did? I ordered to the 0308 behind me there on the scope. It's a great. I like it for the price I paid. It's damn good, but it's a 4-16. Okay, but that knob, if you're looking through the eyepiece and you want to like turn it from 4 to 8, you really got to grab it and turn it with your hand almost. Right? It doesn't have a lever, whatever you want to call it, on it to move it. Right? So I was looking at ones I could, aftermarket ones you can buy to strap on, to put on there to make it work. I mean, if you get the ones that are made out of the same material that scopes are made out of, you're looking at anything from $20 to $50 for one. Well, I kept searching. This is my next topic. This one talking about. I found these, and what they are is actually they're from they are actually used for fishing, for surf rods, fishing rods. It's one of these. I don't even know how it works on a fishing rod. I've never seen them, but it come with a pack of 2 for $14. And so I put that around that thing, and you tighten it down with this knob here until it gets dirt tight. Then you cut the ends off. Then you've got a lever on there that you can move while you keep your eye on the scope, and you can move that. Put your hand up there and move it to where you need it to be. I thought that was a genius idea. Basically, it's like a giant zip tie, almost.
I was just gonna say, like, how much did you pay for that? Because you probably could have used a couple zip ties and just
you
done
could,
the same
but it's having the, it's big and gorky. I mean
Yeah.
it, but
have you put it on and tried it yet?
What?
Have you put it on and tried it yet?
I got one on there. I haven't taken it.
Okay.
I've played around with it. I got one. You can't see it right now, but yeah, I got one
All
on
right.
there.
I just want to make sure it's actually turning it and not sliding.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, I tightened it, and what's good about it, you can really tighten it down for it doesn't budge. Also, if it, and this, from what they say, it doesn't get brittle or anything, but if it does, as cheap as they are, just cut it off, put another one on. But I'm saying, anybody's interested, if you need any of these, go for it. This one is a, and you're gonna love this, made in the UK. And it even has it on here, made in the UK, stamped on it. Not made in the USA, made in the UK. But yeah,
I'm cursing you out in so many ways right now, but it's a cheap item. So hey, what the heck? And you are kind of blaming yourself.
I don't know if you can see it from there, but the knob is kind of big, right? But I don't care what you think about it, as long as it works for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I did, because it's 4 to 16, so basically, it moves in 8 positions. And 4 to 16 is 8. If I'm correct, isn't it? Anyway, I got it in the middle. So if I'm at the lowest, it's on the left-hand side. If I need it the full 16, it's on the right-hand side. So it's not in the way. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was a great, it just fascinated me to see it. I came across that and I went, but the original ones are listed as surf coasters or something. But the American company I guess they're their supplier over here, distributor, or whatever you want to call it. I've made them for calling them cattail scope adjusters. That's what they're calling them. But it's from Breakaway Tackle. So they're actually made for surf rods. Exactly how it's meant to work, I'm not sure. But I've never seen it on a rod. I need to look it up, see how it actually works. But what they were saying from some of the videos I've watched of them, they say actually on the surf rod, they don't work that great. But on a scope, they said they're fantastic. So there you go.
And if you're super cheap, you just throw a rubber band on there and a regular zip tie.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you could do it with a zip tie, cut it short, then that little knob where you slide it
Yeah,
through
the little,
could be the knob you use
yep.
to move it.
I
Yeah.
get one of them fatter rubber bands, and you can put a thicker zip tie on there too. A bigger one, so you got a decent sized nub,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
heating, air conditioning, one of those style zip tie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Zip
Oh yeah.
cuff
I
size.
mean, that would do the same. I mean, basically the
Yep.
same thing. That's what it is, really. But just a fancy screw down. Instead of pulling it tight, you screw it tight. Because as you're screwing it, these two straps get longer because it's tightening it down. Then you just cut it off. And what I actually did is once I got it tightened down the first time, I took this off. Well, I marked them where it was. Then I undid it and snipped them off just below the level of this knob. So when I touch it, it doesn't bother my hand. All I feel is, you know what I'm saying? I got nothing sticking up there to sort of scratch me or anything. And tightened it back down. Works like a dream. I'm telling you. Greatest. I mean, that's a great invention. It really is. Yeah. So, but what I'm thinking of doing now, I told you I was going to get a Boat Action 308 to put on there. Well, I've been doing some research. The 308 will reach out to 1,000 yards, but for that kind of distance, it's not really the best cartridge. Because what happens is once it gets to a certain, I think it's about 700 yards, it starts fighting the wind. It's losing its energy, so the wind will affect it a lot more than other ammo. From what I understand, the best one to use is like a 6.5 Creedmoor because it has a higher philosophy. High, when it comes out the barrel, it holds
Velocity.
its energy longer than a 308 does. So when it gets to that 700 or 800 yards, it's still flying true, and the wind's not affecting it that much. and it won't. And what they're saying about the 308, sometimes when it gets to the 1,000 yards, yeah, you can hit your target, but it's actually the bullet's more could be tumbling by the time it gets there. So I'm thinking of getting a 6.5 Creedmoor, which you can use on that that lower that I have, because basically it's they're almost the bullets are almost alike, and a 6.5 Creedmoor will fit in a 308 magazine. It will fit in. You can use the same. It works for you. I mean, if you need a different, if it's a different bolt group, that comes with the upper anyway when you buy it. So to me, I think it's a win-win. Not only that, I'll have 2 different rifles. Actually, I'll have 3, won't I? Because I'll have my 22 conversion kit for it as well. So I'll have a 308, a 6.5 Creedmoor, or a 22 using the same lower. I mean, to me, that's a win-win all around. What do you think? Talk to me.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. Yeah.
I mean, because like we know the 6.5 bolt action upper is the same price as a 308 upper, basically around the $340 mark. Depends if it's on sale or not. This is Bear Creek Arsenal I'm talking about. I'm not talking about one of them fancy upmarket boutique gun makers, So, and $180 for the 22 conversion, right? So, for argument's sake, for $500, I got 2 new rifles. 3 altogether with the 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, and a 22 long rifle. Shit. Now, I have to see what else you can shoot with the 308 lower. Because you could buy a bunch of,
When you kick it and that rifle comes to me, am I going to get all these uppers with it?
Well, yeah, they ain't going to be no good without a lower to shoot them on, are they?
I wouldn't think so, but I just want to make sure it's on record that you thought.
Oh, so. I'll have to make an amendment to my written down instructions.
Knock yourself out. Get every upper you can think of if you want. I guess I don't mind.
I
mean, like I said, the 22 conversion kit, we've talked about that before. I have a different opinion, but apparently they're up to par now. So, I mean, if you want to go for it, go for it.
Yeah. And I plan on getting a designated scope for each one too. So all I got to do is put the upper on, snap the pins in, and I'm ready to shoot. I won't have to worry about changing scopes or anything. The scope will be on there. Hopefully it will stay sighted in, so you're ready for action in seconds. That's what I was thinking. You go, you got the 308, but if you need to go for the sniper shot, the long distance, just put the 6.5 Creedmoor on there, take the guy out. Then if you got to get some food, put the 22 on, put the 22 conversion kit in there and, shoot you some squirrels and rabbits. It's a win-win.
Now, I know this won't be popular. It's not a popular question or statement, but due to the channel. But is there anything else that you got an interest in, Rick? Like maybe going to visit somebody, taking a trip, something like that? Because I mean, might be decent to throw some money some other places in life. Not trying to talk you out of anything, and like I said, it's a gun channel type deal or whatever. But at the same time, you just
Yeah.
did dump a bunch of money. You're on a tight budget. Think it would be understandable if
Well,
did
I
something
got
else
to.
for yourself too.
Yeah, I know, but be honest with you, I don't know. I don't really want to go anywhere.
All right.
See,
Well,
I mean, how can I put
I
this?
mean that was just a suggestion. I
I
don't know.
know,
You know what I mean? You know what I
but
mean? I'm just
time I got married at 23, right? I'd already been around the world, i.e., I was a military dependent kid, you know.
yeah, yeah. But
But
have
I
you
mean,
experienced other cultures, other
yeah, oh
places
yeah,
already?
yeah, yeah. And so, really, kind of what do yeah, I mean, is there anything I like to do? I don't know.
Well,
There
you
is.
got a bucket list?
Well, yes, but it's there's two items on there. It's never going to happen. Is
Ah,
one is one. I would love to go to Australia, right? And
yeah.
the other one, which I think it's a lot closer, is I would like to go to Hawaii, just to say I've been. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That's to
I
say,
think, I can't speak for Australia, but Hawaii is expensive, but I think it's something you could accomplish. I don't see why you couldn't.
yeah, I'm
Unfortunately,
not talking about moving there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, going to visit, yeah.
Yeah,
God forbid, don't move there.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
no, no, no.
Go over there. I mean, I'm not. See, I'd like to see it, but if I don't, I'm not. It's the same with Australia. Well, with Australia, I rather go to the outback than to the coast. And
Right, in
like
the
Hawaii,
cities
I
and
am not. I mean,
Melbourne.
when I lived up in Rhode Island, I lived a mile and a half from the beach. It was a beach town I lived in. It was there for the summer trade. That's what it lived for. And how many years did I live there? In that actual town, I think I lived there for over 10 years in that actual town in that one house I was in. And I think I went to the beach 3 times. I'm
Yeah.
not a beach person, you know?
There's a lot of stuff like that. I mean, yeah, you can say my dad was from New York City, and first time he ever went to the Empire State Building or Statue of Liberty, shit like that, was taking me there as a kid. He's been there his whole life, could care less, basically.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, I mean, like going to Hawaii, I wouldn't be going there to, sit on the beach or anything like that. But I would like to sort of like see the island, go to the, stuff like going to the
yeah,
Arizona
yeah,
thing. What I
Pearl
got to,
Harbor.
yeah, yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and it's definitely, and I would say beautiful place to visit.
Yeah,
Living there is another story. I mean, it's a lot of freaking money. Like,
yeah,
everything's imported. Like, you know what I mean? It's just
yeah,
it's a lot of money. And
yeah,
property value keeps going up and up. There's
yeah.
just not
Well,
as much property there.
everything it's got, it's got to be shipped in.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
They say it's one of the most expensive places in the country, so
Yeah,
due to all those different factors. So
but one good thing about Hawaii it doesn't have any poisonous snakes.
Mm. Mm.
You know, that's about the only good thing going for it, I think. I hate.
I don't know. I mean, Hawaii is something you could do. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
that's not something where it's like buying a house or something. So that's especially if you book a flight in advance, ahead of time, uh, you'd save a lot that way as well. But
yeah.
it's not cheap though. The flights there and back, I think, what on average round trip, I think is like 1,700 or something like
That
that.
wouldn't surprise me.
I could be wrong, but I think it's somewhere around that range. And obviously you book earlier, but then you
Yeah.
got to place to stay, vehicle, depending on what you're doing.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's you know,
Everything's expensive
and
because
you
it's
gotta
Hawaii.
go there. What's the word I'm looking for? Naked. You can't carry.
Yeah, yeah, that's true too.
You know
And
what I'm saying?
you'd have to figure out what island you wanted to go to too, because
Oh yeah, yeah.
that's
And unless you put that into your big plan to island hop.
yeah,
You know?
but that's expensive as well because
Yeah.
you're basically taking a plane in
Yeah.
most cases. It sounds crazy, but pretty much taking a plane. So
But see, then Australia going out into the outback there. The only problem with Australia, besides being you know, every goddamn living thing out there wants to kill you.
it's I'm sure they look at us and laugh like, "Oh, pussies! What you never fought kangaroo for your dog? Like, come on." Yeah, my
Yeah,
grandma does that every other week. Like, what's wrong with you? Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, they got you know every kind, and one they got the most poisonous snakes in Australia, and every animal there is dangerous. Even those
Insects,
even
yeah.
those cute little koala bears are vicious. They look cute up in the tree, but you go try to
Yeah.
touch one, it rip you apart.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, plus there, depending on what you're doing, you're saying go to the Outback. I mean, now
yeah.
you're
I wouldn't stay
probably
around the
spending
coast. I
money
would go
for a
inland.
tour, or renting
You know,
vehicle,
yeah,
quite a time frame because you'll be doing a lot of traveling. So
yeah,
might in the end be cheaper, safer, more convenient for Hawaii. Yeah,
yeah. I think Australia. I mean, to go to Australia. I mean, I bet you that would cost some money. You know?
probably, especially if you want to go, on a walkabout, or
Yeah,
whatever through the Outback. I think that's you're gonna need. You can't just load a backpack and go, or call an Uber probably. So that's gonna be more involving running
yeah,
vehicles, fuel,
yeah. But that's basically.
transferring money.
Yeah,
For Hawaii, you can still use the same money.
yeah. But
So,
back to the original thing. I don't. I like spending my money on firearms stuff, firearm related stuff. You know, that's my hobby. It used to be before I got into guns. Before I got hurt at work, I used to be into motorcycles. You know, I lived and breathed motorcycles. But since I can't sit on, I mean, I couldn't stay on one any great length of time anymore because of my back. That's why I don't do them anymore. So that's what Then I got into firearms, and you know, I think it's great. So hey,
those,
you bought your 380 yet?
no, no, I haven't gotten one for myself yet. But
Yeah.
gonna say, those what do they call them? Slingshots. I'm sure there's other brands, but the two wheels in the front, one in the back.
Yeah.
kind of like a reverse trike.
Yeah.
I seen one just the other day that had like a cockpit. It was almost like a three-wheeled car
Yeah, I've
instead
seen
of a
those.
motorcycle. Okay, where it has an actual car seat in it and
Yeah.
whatnot as well. I mean, I don't know. It seems kind of crazy to me, but for
Yeah.
somebody like it's
I don't know if I would go for that. But I mean,
I
even
don't
if I got
know.
a trike, it's not so much. Yeah, if you got a trike, you got three wheels, so you really don't have to. I mean, putting your legs down to hold the thing up. If you got three wheels, it holds itself up. But it's not that so much. It's the vibration from it on my back and sitting up straight or slightly lean forward just a little bit would for hours would kill me. You know. So.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
the
just
one I
I
seen
got
had like a car
I
seat,
got rid of
so
them
it'd be
cold
like
turkey. You know.
you were driving in a car or something, but it's on the
Yeah, but if
three-wheel.
you got to do that, you might as well drive a car.
Well, I'm just, throwing an idea out there, and I'm
Yeah,
sure they're probably ridiculously priced anyway, because I think even those slingshots were crazy, the money they were wanting for
yeah,
those. So,
yeah,
and this thing probably costs more because it's got a cab or whatever. So I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, but see, you said a flight to Hawaii, $1,700. Goddamn, I reckon it'd be triple that to go to Australia, right? And all I want to do is spend $500 for an upper and a conversion kit. To me, that seems a better deal.
Well, I'm just spitballing here, right? You
Uh,
know, Spirit Airline with 6 months notice, and you might get a deal. So.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, I've heard of people getting less, but I think and I don't know where that number even came from now, to be 100%. But I'm just throwing something out. You could look it up online real quick if you wanted
Oh, I
it.
could. I might do that before the next week's show, just to see and let you know. Let me
Yeah,
write that down if I don't forget to look that up. So, yeah,
yeah. You should do a little, I don't know, window shop on your vacation there. What would a flight cost you? What would a hotel room cost you or whatever if you did the Airbnb? Although
yep,
they were having problems with that in Hawaii, so I don't know if they're still allowing it or what. I'd look into that or whatever. I'd personally go with a hotel anyway, but that's whatever.
yeah. I think a
Your business.
hotel. To me, but I don't need an expensive hotel. But then why
Right,
everything?
right. Yeah. See what it
Yeah,
would be, what you'd be comfortable with, and then come up with a estimated number,
yeah.
and then throw a little extra on that because of bullshit that just happens. And
See, that's another thing too. Is
see
like
what happens.
you, when you want a hotel, you want a hot tub in it or jacuzzi or whatever, right?
I'm 50-50. It
That
depends
puts
what
the
I'm
price.
doing. For
That puts
hanging
the
out
price up.
type stuff, yeah. Yeah.
To me,
But
a hotel is just somewhere to sleep.
yep.
You don't
Yeah,
need
I've
all
done
the
that too.
luxuries.
And
As
I've
long as
stayed
it's
at
got
like the
AC,
Super 8s or whatever, traveling, just literally sleep, shower, and go.
yeah,
Yeah.
as long as it's got AC, or for the summertime or heat in the winter. As you said, a shower, maybe 4 or 5 channels on the TV before you fall asleep. I'm good to go. You know, because I'm an early person. I get up early and go. I don't stay in bed to 10 minutes before checkout time. You know.
It ticks me off that, I've been on late road trips where I can think of one with a lady where I'm trying to push all night. She's begging for me to stop, get a hotel. Finally, like, I'm starting to doze a little bit and stuff. So like 2:33 in the morning, pull off to get a hotel, and checkouts at like 10 a.m. and you're paying for that full day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For just a few hours, like 6 hours or something. Like it's like such a rip off. So
I
in
see.
those cases, I damn sure am not getting a nice place.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. But be
Now
honest
you got to
with
be
you,
able to enjoy it.
if it was like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, right, and I know I'm going to get up, hell, I'd pull over and just sleep in the goddamn vehicle.
I've done it, and I did it with her once, and she freaked out.
Oh yeah.
Of course, it was winter time, but like I said,
Oh,
I don't care.
Yeah. Hey,
but she wasn't thrilled.
I done it during the summertime. I made sure the doors were locked, right, and I kept the damn thing running. I had the AC running all night long.
Okay.
The truck running. It didn't overheat or anything. It was great. So you only stop them for 4 or 5 hours. So
yeah.
Now, as you said, to me, spending money because check-ins normally what, around 2, 3 o'clock.
Check out is usually like 10 a.m.
Yeah, but then there's a few hours in between because they got to clean the rooms.
Right. And you can check in usually 11, 12 sometimes. Yeah, it's around that. Yeah.
Yeah. See, so you're paying from let's say checkout's late, 3 o'clock, right? You're paying from 3 o'clock to 11 the next morning, but you're not getting there to 3 a.m.
Right.
To me, nah. They ought to give you a discount because you're only renting it for a few hours.
They should. And elsewise they wouldn't have rented the damn room at all. So something's better than nothing. Yeah. I agree. I agree, but they're pricks about it usually.
Yeah.
Although I have gotten good deals because I've come in, and when you see, that's the thing too. If you go in and ask, it's usually they tell you more money. If you look online through an app or something, a lot of times you can get it cheaper than they're even telling you it's going to be, because it goes through some type of deal. It's some weird thing. I don't know. So I've gone in and they told me something crazy, and I turned around and walked out, and then they were like, "Oh, hold on. How about such and such?" And they started bartering, and then I bartered back, and I've gotten a decent price like that. But, yeah. A lot of the times I've found better deals online, and you can reserve it and not have to pay anything if you change your mind. So don't end up, make it that far that night or whatever, which is nice too.
Yeah, but anyway, damn, 7:48 already. Got 10 minutes to go. Jesus, this hour is flying by. And anyway, I don't know how we got into vacations and hotels and shit.
Well, just seeing if there was anything else on your bucket list besides firearms. So
no, firearms.
Looking into that.
See, when I do something, it's all or nothing. I'm all in or nothing. Like when I used to play golf before I got into motorcycles. I paid for the. Actually, I still got them. And how bad it is, they're sitting outside in the shed. I got a set of pings out there that cost me. I think it was almost $2,000 for the set. I had all the clothes, the ping. I looked good when I stood up there on the first tee. That was worth just a couple of shots. Just how good I looked. You know what I'm saying? But I had, you name it, I had, I had one of the best putters you could buy and all this kind of stuff. I was in it. I played golf. I joined a golf club. I played golf every spare minute of my time. If I wasn't playing, I was down the driving range practicing. All or nothing. When I gave up golf because I got what did I give up golf for? There was a reason why.
Because of the girls.
I think it was actually. Then I got into
the girls at the golf range were all snooty, and we hung out at a bar one night, and there was a couple of bikers having a great time, and you were like, "Well, fuck these clubs."
Yeah, that's right. That's basically what it was, and I thought the biker lifestyle, I can handle that. So I got into motorcycles. I didn't have a great one. I had a couple, but I got my license and I rode my bike. I rode my bike till it got just too cold to ride it. You know, I mean, sometimes if the weather was, I mean, I I've ridden my motorcycle where it was so cold that when I got home, I had to chip the ice off the zip to undo my jacket. You know,
Hell no. Hell no. You're crazy, man.
you know,
I
but
feel bad for people that do that. Even when I had a bike, I feel bad for people that do that. Shit,
yeah,
in the summer sometimes you can go from, beautiful to 80 degrees, nice out, and then in the evening around here you get in the hills and stuff. If you're not wearing a riding jacket, so you freeze your ass off as
yeah.
soon as you hit the shade going over the hills.
And it didn't
Oh
bother me
no.
to ride in the rain either. I rode in the rain. I rode
Yeah, I
in,
don't mind the rain
you know,
or riding on dirt. Some people are
yeah. I mean,
allergic to
once
dirt.
it got to, I mean, when I had to chip the ice off, that was sort of like, I think, my last day of riding during that winter. You know what I'm saying? But I ride oh, that looks good. I ride as long as I can when
Yeah.
I was on my motorcycle. I would I would start as early as I could. I would start riding. Hell, end of February, beginning of March, if I could get away with it. You might be able to do it for 2 or 3 days, and a cold snap comes. You have to stop. But eventually, so I used to ride more motorcycle than anything else. But then I got hurt, and then I thought how me being disabled like I was, I'm not 6 foot tall and bulletproof anymore. That's when the guns came in and all in. You know what I'm saying? Just the way I am. So I rather spend my money on guns than anything else. And I don't see a problem with it. You can never have too many guns. I don't care what the old lady tells you. You cannot have too many guns. You know, there's always like the 6.5 Creedmoor can reach that 1,000 yards easy. Just got to find somewhere to shoot 1,000 yards. But if it's, you remember, was it last week or the week before I was talking about, like where the electric lines are, right? A friend of mine has that going through his property, but he says from where on his property, he's got about 400 yards, before he gets to his property line. I said, well, can you shoot on there? He said, yeah. He said, I can shoot on there. He said, he said, because I own the land. He said the power company has right of way or easement, whatever they call it. He said, he's got a fence. He's got a fence both ends of his property on it. He says, all I got to do is put a gate there on each end for they can drive onto it and to do what they have to do. He said they only come out about once a year to maintenance unless something major happens. He said, and they're even come in and mow the grass and trim all the trees down the sides and shit. But if you don't want them to, you can say no, it's okay, but you've got to take care of it. You've got to do it. So there you go. I checked into it. But the furthest I found anybody that I know that owns property is 400 yards. It's the furthest I got so far.
That's cool. It makes sense. But wouldn't advise just anybody else to pull over at a power line and
Oh
start
no,
shooting.
and I think there's restrictions if it's actually the land actually belongs to the power company. You know what I'm saying? You can't just go on there and shoot, without their permission. So The only people who are allowed to go on there without permission is Bigfoot. They can walk down through there because nobody's going to stop them. You know? So. Yeah. Okay. That's about it. You eating your sandwich?
Yep.
Okay. Because I said it's about quitting time anyway. So I got to do the quiz. You know? Actually, my little easy question I had last week, I've had, let's have a look. How many did I have so far? I think I got 2 or 3. 1, 2, 3. I think I got 3. I got 3 entries so far to this month's quiz. And it was a real easy one. All I wanted to know, the question is, what is a punt gun? P-U-N-T. As I've looking it up on Google. That's how I want to know what a punt gun is. Email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. Get it into me by, I believe it's the 4th, not the 4th. What we in June, first Wednesday in July is July 2nd for the drawing for the swag pack. What is a punt gun? Is what I want to know. There you go.
I knew what it was.
Yeah, you were right when we talked after the show. You know? And I think I gave the clue last week, and I'll give it again this week. It's legal to own, but you're not allowed to use it for what it was intended for. That's all I'm going to say. So there you go. That's the quiz. Making it nice and easy for everybody if I have more entries. So there you go. So with that, we're about out of time. So you got any closing thoughts or wisdom you wish to pass on to us there in New York Outcast?
Yeah. Don't gamble unless you know you're going to win. Always hold the door for a lady or the elderly. And dodge the landmines. Eat a salad. Do something good for yourself. Do something nice for somebody else once in a while. And that's about it.
And
obviously,
don't drive all night. Pull over and get a goddamn hotel room.
Yeah, or at least get some sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to get there any quicker if you doze off and kill yourself or somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I appreciate that. Okay, with that, it's 8 o'clock. And so with that, I want to say thank you to everybody for stopping by. I know it's summertime, so everybody's got lots to do. So the few people that have shown up, I really do appreciate it. It makes me come back again. I will be back here next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So that's the only time zone that matters, by the way. And with that, I'm going to say good night, and I will see you all next week. So good night, everybody. Good night, Sabrina.